Welcome back to another episode of the Pals Podcast. I'm your co-host, Ricky Liordi.
And Danielle Galarno.
And I guess let's talk about the elephant in the room first, Danny, before we get into this week's episode. You've dyed your hair blonde again.
Yep. I feel like 2019, Danny.
I feel like you look like when I met you. I feel like you got 2 years younger.
It's a little shorter than I expected, but hair grows.
It looks good, Danny.
Blonde.
It looks good.
I'm
You're
back.
blonde, you're tan, hot
Ready
girl
for summer.
Danny's ready to rock and roll. Okay, tell us about your week, Danny. You had a wedding?
Yeah, I had a wedding in Ottawa. Shout out to Carolyn and John for a great wedding. It was amazing. We had so much fun. I'm so happy for the two
Guess
of them.
my invite got lost in milk.
It was my cousin's wedding. It was so good.
That's
yeah.
it?
Yeah, I was in Ottawa. Like, I was just like immersed in family things all weekend.
Stayed at your sister's house. Shout out Andrea.
For one night. Then we stayed at a hotel. All my cousins, my grandparents.
It's exciting.
We had just like a welcome party. That was a lot of fun. And then it was just like wedding. It was exhausting.
Family weddings are good, but they're a lot because it's just like everybody's there. And it's like you spend the first 2 hours is just hellos. Oh my God, how are you, Danny? So good to see you.
No, we were all together all
How
weekend.
was tax season?
That's why we had the welcome party. So the
Okay.
welcome party made everything a lot easier because you got to see everyone the day before.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense.
And then at the wedding, we could like honestly just go there, have fun. The groom's family's from Philadelphia.
Oh, Philly.
Yeah.
Are they nice? Well, you can't say them.
No, they are really nice. It was very cool because it was I guess like half of a Jewish wedding.
Half Italian?
No,
What's she?
Canadian,
Okay.
like French Canadian.
So it's like a half.
Yeah, so like we had some like Jewish traditions mixed into it, and like whereas our family grew up Catholic, so we're used to like the church and everything.
Yeah.
So
That's
that was
exciting,
different, but it was like really cool to see. They did the hora. That was a lot of fun. Learned all about that.
Unreal. So it sounds like a good time.
So it was.
Good.
How was your weekend?
Mine was good. Ended up, I was supposed to go to Pittsburgh to play in a pickleball tournament, and it got canceled morning of. So instead, did some shopping in Grove City. I showed you everything I just bought, Danny, and people will see it on Instagram over the next 2 months.
I just want to say, if anyone ever sees Ricky out in Toronto in these like white pink pants,
Like white tie-dye-ish.
please tell him to take them off and to throw them in the garbage because that's the only purchase I think that.
They were $17 at Forever 21, so even if I wore them twice.
But any girl would know that's like, oh, that's cute from Forever 21, and then like there's like some random like print on it. Like those are the random prints that should not be on.
Do you know what? I'm gonna wear them and I'm gonna wear them tonight. We'll see what people think.
Yeah, no.
Okay. I did that. Then I ran the Cleveland Half Marathon, which was a lot of fun. It was my first time running a half marathon in a different city. And I love the idea of doing it because you get to see the city. I get to see all three sports teams' fields. Progressive Field, which is the Cleveland Guardians, the stadium where the Browns play, and the stadium where the Cleveland Cavaliers play. I don't know the names of them, but really cool, really good. My mom came with me. Shout out, Mom. Love you. I ran it in an hour, 52-ish minutes, 52, 53. So that was good. Overall, really good weekend. It's nice to be back, though. Obviously, get to relax. Today's a holiday. You guys will hear this tomorrow anyways. So it's made 2 for a long weekend, which usually is like the kickoff to summer, which I feel like is kind of why you're all tanned and blonde, and Danny's ready for the summer. So, yeah. Anything else, Danny, you want to add?
No, not really. Just maybe
okay.
talk about the episode of
Okay. Well, Danny wasn't on this episode, so I'll give you guys a rundown. We had King Cruff. He signed with Universal. And just from the moment I met him, you could tell this was it was going to be a fun one. He had good vibes. I came in super happy, super nice guy. Just released a single, Soufflé. He also had his first single with Universal called Samurai Chop. Both bangers. Take a listen. We ended up chatting about, growing up in Jamaica and coming here. First time we saw snow, living in London, Ontario. Obviously, me and Danny are both Western grads, so we oh, fuck, Danny, I keep forgetting you weren't there. We got to talk about Western and just the city of London in general, his come up, his story. He's a great person. Again, it's one of those episodes where you feel like you're pals with someone. You just sit down, you start chatting, you get along. I ended up staying after to eat like chicken wings and, have a couple of drinks with people, which has been kind of the theme lately. I've done it the last few episodes.
You know what? The episodes that I haven't been there, I'm like, hey, Rick, how was it? You're like, oh, sorry, I can't talk right now. I'm eating chicken wings. And I was like, excuse me? Like,
or like the episode,
what's happening now?
Yeah, the episode the week before with Graham. I ended up going out for drinks and karaoke after. So, I guess the pod's doing well then. That's the point of it, to feel like we're becoming pals with our guests, and we want the audience, you, to feel like you're becoming pals with them too. And I really think we did. There's a funny part where in this episode where we talk about his first stage name. And I don't want to give it out on this now, but you guys will hear it. Really funny. Just Cruff, man, love you, appreciate you. Thank you so much. And to our friends at Universal for setting this up. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. And then I think let's just jump right into it.
Yeah, let's go.
LFG.
Oh,
Let's go.
You're not alright. I'm not alright. I like to drink and smoke, take away the pain, and you don't matter.
I'm trying to get better at it because I feel like at the end of the day, I've talked to someone about this today where it's like, it can be fun, you know what I mean? But I also feel like social media is a thing where it's very easy to get sucked into. It's very easy where it can like dictate your mental state. Like some people get too wrapped up into it.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to like keep a healthy distance of it while still recognizing that it's a tool. It doesn't have to be as hard as us musicians make it out to be. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it. The tough part is that your job is to make music. Your
Yes.
job is to make the best possible music you can.
Yes.
But then your secondary job is also to get the music in front of as many people as you can. And now it's like social media's, you hate to say it, it's like social media is the way to do it almost, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
if you're
yeah.
not on it, it's tough. But I don't know. I always believe that the best music will always find people's ears. Like if you are the best and you make the best song, it doesn't matter if you're big on TikTok or you're not big on Instagram, whatever. People will find your music one way or the other.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I'm definitely at that point where it's like, damn, I'm drawing a blank. I'm definitely immediately 2 minutes in. I'm at that point where it's kind of like you said, I always say to myself as well, like, yo, the best music will always find a way.
Yep.
But also, you know, shout out Jeffrey, CEO of Universal. Me and him had a conversation about this the first time I met him, and I was just like, I'm not a TikTok guy. And he was just immediately like, you have to think about the fact that that's just where your fans are. And music has always been about, yo, where are my fans? I should go there. Whether it's back in the day where you literally physically had to go to that spot, that territory,
Yeah.
or it's in a digital space now, so you have to make use of that as well.
Yeah, it's. I respect him for saying that too, because again, it's where people are, and it can change careers. Look at what's that girl's name that went super viral with a TikTok song? Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah.
What was that song called? Driving the car through the neighborhood or something. Anyways,
Sure.
so she went mega viral with TikTok, and you know now she's mega famous because of that.
Yeah.
So I see both sides of it.
You know which artist blew up on TikTok? And like, I actually, because usually when artists blow up on TikTok, I'm like, okay, like let's hear the rest of the music. That girl from the UK, Ray, Raye, bro, I listened to, she had that one song, Escapism, which already had amazing storytelling. And then I went to go and listen to the project, and I was like, this is one of my favorite projects of the year so far.
I don't know any of her songs other than that one song because I hear it on the radio now.
Yeah,
That's
man.
it.
You should listen to the album.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Who's your favorite artist right now?
Right now?
Right now.
Jano, that's a hard question. Who am I listening? Wait, hold on.
I just love the Caribbean in you, like you know what I mean, the Jamaican in you. I'm like, yeah, I love it.
It's genuine. Like right now, a big favorite of mine is Smino.
Okay.
He came to Toronto. I didn't get to see him, which made me very sad. But he's fire. Who else? Back home, you know, I keep singing their praises. Runkus, Tessellated.
Okay.
Those are like kind of like the people in the new school who have like reggae, but also like a type of neo soul to their music, a type of hip hop to their music. Yeah. I'm listening to that Ray girl for sure. I just listened to the Junior T album Studio Monk, which was incredible. I'm just taking music as it comes and goes.
Do you listen to all different varieties of music, or just like reggae, just soulful stuff? Like, what's your go-to? Oh, I guess probably reggae. No.
I wouldn't say reggae is my go-to. It's
Okay.
definitely it definitely dominates my playlist. But you know, some days it's hip hop, some days it's funk, man. Some days it's rock.
Yeah.
Like I love like I guess rock has so many subgenres, but I love the Killers. You know what I mean?
Have you seen them live?
Never.
I saw the Killers live about 5 or 6 years ago, and I go to like, my Georgie's not here to tell you, but I go to more concerts than anybody you know. I go like
Right.
40 concerts a year, easy.
Mhm.
I love live music, and I think listening to music and watching what it can do to people. So even if I don't know the artist that well, but I have a friend who does, or just watching people feel a certain way to a certain type of song, like to me, it's magical, right?
Yeah.
So I went to the Killers about 5 years ago, and Mr. Brightside is like one of my like all-time favorite songs, right?
Of course.
You know, classic like me. And I remember hearing that live, and I was just like, that's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
It's just, I was singing along, and when it ended, I was like, oh. Like 4 minutes. Can we just repeat that 4 minutes?
Yeah, man.
But,
The
yeah.
little video on your phone doesn't do enough.
Oh man, not
You
at
know what I mean?
all. When I hear like a really good song that I love that like means something to me, I don't record it.
Yeah.
I'm like, someone else has it. I'll download it from Instagram later on. I want to just watch this person sing this song because it means so much to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what's one song that means a lot to you?
one song that means a lot to me? There's so many, bro. There's so many
Well,
songs.
like, what's
just,
one that there's one in your mind right now?
You know what? Just because we're talking about concerts, I'm gonna go with like one of the recent concerts I went to. I went to see Kendrick on the Big Steppers tour.
Kendrick is top notch.
Live, bro, he's crazy.
Oh, I thought you gave me that look. Where I thought you were gonna say he wasn't crazy. I'm
No,
like,
no.
Kendrick is top notch. Like you cannot like.
There will be no Kendrick slander
No, not at all.
from Cruff ever.
From anybody.
Yeah.
Like Future. Okay, like I like Future. Future performing live. I'll throw some shade at Future a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But Kendrick, I've seen him live twice now. One was at a music festival, maybe Coachella
Mm-hmm.
or Lolla. I can't remember. It was like a big festival. And the other one was at the ACC or Scotiabank Arena here.
Was
Unbelievable.
that the Big Steppers tour or was that Damn?
I think it was Damn.
It was Damn,
about
yeah.
5 years ago, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's,
yeah.
that's the Damn one, yeah.
Yeah. I was at the Damn tour too. That one was pretty good. But when I saw him at the Big Steppers tour, and obviously he has an array of music that I love every song, but watching him perform Rich Spirit for the first time live, that was crazy, bro.
Man, it's so amazing what it can do to you. It just gives you those feels, right?
Yeah, it makes it feel like real. I don't know how to describe it. It's just like, damn, bro. Like I listen to you.
But the thing is, you can describe it one way, and I can describe it a completely different way, and neither of us are wrong because what it
Facts.
means to you is something completely different than what it means to me.
Facts.
Like I listen to the most like depressing music ever, and it makes me happy.
What's the most depressing thing on your playlist?
Right now,
What song
not-
do
it's
you
not
listen to?
Love in the Dark by Adele. Man, I listen to that and I got
That's
the
deep.
biggest like smile on my face. I'm just like, man, the song's so sad, and I'm just happy right now. You know the song Post Malone just released it, Chemical?
I haven't heard it yet.
So it's like it's just his new single. It's amazing. I love it about it. But it's like it's about like a toxic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm single and I'm just listening to like with a big smile on my face. Like
I love
he's
this.
probably writing this about like a bad breakup, and I'm just like chilling, driving down the car, just nodding my head back and forth. Like,
Damn, you sing, Posty.
oh,
That's
man,
what you're thinking.
I wish I had musical talent. I always say like I love sitting with musicians because I wish I had musical talent,
Right.
but I got none.
I
None.
don't believe you. I don't
No,
believe it
trust
when
me,
people say that, man.
Zero.
Mm.
I know it's so funny. Everyone says the same thing. No, man, you got it. It's like, trust me. I went karaoke last week. I don't got it. I don't got it at all.
Say, was it there?
Yeah, it wasn't there.
I don't believe you.
Wait, when did you realize you had musical talent?
That's a good question, man. I think so. The first time I ever wrote a verse was for like a science project back in high
Sorry,
school.
wait, what?
Yeah.
How does a verse go into a science project? I need to go to school in Jamaica. That's for sure now, man.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
How does that happen?
I think our teacher just came to us one day and was like, "Yo, we're going to do something for like a science fair, but we wanted to be creative." And I think me and my friends were just getting into hip hop at the time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, And I think we were just like, "Hey, wouldn't it be funny if we wrote like a rap verse, not knowing that would dictate the rest of my life from that moment on?" And you know what's funny about that performance, man, is that I've only ever messed up 2 performances in my life, and that first one was one of them.
So you were off on the wrong foot. Eh?
I was so nervous, bro. I was shaking. I couldn't even finish. And it's unfortunate because the verse was bad, but there were still bars in there. You know what I mean? So it was like I couldn't get the bars off. But yo, Ricky, I'm serious.
How old were you?
I think I want to say I was like 12, 13.
Okay, so it's forgivable.
Oh, bro, it wasn't nothing serious. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Well, serious enough for you to remember that you fucked it up.
yeah. Serious enough that like from that moment on, I'm gonna do my best to at least finish every performance.
Okay, wait, what was the second one then?
The second time I was just not prepared for it. So I was doing something for a Mother's Day concert or whatever.
Okay.
And I was like, let me try and write a new song. Didn't write the new song. Thought I could just freestyle it. I get 2 minutes. I get like 30 seconds in. And I'm like, yeah. I legit tell them, I'm like, yeah, guys, it's not happening. I can
you
laugh about
ruined
it
some
now.
Mother's Day.
What's that?
You ruined some mom's Mother's
I
Day.
felt so bad, man. It was actually no. I feel bad, yo. Shout out Auntie Rose because she was the one that
Auntie Rose.
Auntie Rose, you know, she gave me the link for that, and I really fumbled the bag at Auntie Rose. So sorry about that. Stephanie's behind the camera and she's laughing right now.
Hey, at least you're honest though.
Yes, of
At least
course.
you're honest. Some people are like, no, I never messed up a show ever. It's like, I went to that one show. You weren't that good, so I don't know.
I also feel like performing is kind of like I wouldn't say it's a lost art, but I definitely feel like some people hone it and some people don't.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. There's one artist that, you know, I can say his name, and I'm a big fan, Justin Bieber. Like, I'm a big Justin Bieber fan. I love him. I think he's the most talented, you know, artist in the world. One of. I've seen him live 4 or 5 times, and just doesn't do it for me. And like, I know everyone, like, people say he's amazing. Again, like, I compare him to like what growing up with like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and Justin Timberlake and all like the boy bands that we grew up with. I don't know how old you are. I'm 32, so that was like our growing up.
Right.
And I've seen Justin Bieber, and just like, just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
And like, that's Justin Bieber. Like, I'm a massive fan, but just doesn't do it for me.
Would you prefer that an artist not be a good performer, but you love their songs, or vice versa? Like, you love their performances and not their songs?
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Because this is something I've noticed too.
No one's ever asked me that.
Yeah. Like, have you seen a performer and you're like, this live performance is sick, and then you listen to it, their songs later, and you're like, the production might not be there. You know what I mean? It doesn't have that same energy as live. So how do you feel about it now?
I'm gonna say, so my answer is like convoluted. There's artists that I didn't really like them, and then I listened to them live, and then I became big fans of their music.
Mm-hmm.
But more so, like, I've been people I'm big fans of, like Future's my best example. I love Future's music.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him live. Every time he's late, he's his own hype man. Like, he's got a hype man. I forget his name. His DJ, like Esco or something. He's got a hype man, and he's his own hype man. It's like, yo, just sing your rap, man. Like,
yeah,
perform. He's just like, I'm gonna, like, bro, what? Like, I want you to sing the whole time, like, rap the whole time. But, no, I'm gonna say I'd rather them be a good performer live and maybe not the best on the back end side than be really good, like, on a record label, but not as amazing live. Because I love live music. I love live music. Like, you can listen to a song in the car or at home and feel a certain way and enjoy it, but when you see it live, it's just, you know, I've told this on the podcast before, but the first time I ever saw Adele, I wasn't an Adele fan originally, and Adele's got, you know, hits after hits. Just I never cared for him. My mom wanted to go, so I took my mom to the Adele concert, and I couldn't take my eyes off Adele the entire. I was mesmerized. I was in a different world the whole time. I kept thinking, I'm like, I'm witnessing the most beautiful voice in the entire world right now.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just since then, now I'm a huge Adele fan.
Yeah.
I told you, Love in the Dark, one of my sad songs on my playlist right now. So, what about you though? What would you? Not for you personally, but for other artists. If for let's say some of the artists that you enjoy, what would you rather they be? Good performers and bad on like the back of the label record side, or vice versa?
I feel like I would prefer them to be good song-wise, like actually listening to their songs online, than seeing their performance, because I don't have to see an artist perform if I don't want to.
Yeah,
and if I have the idea that, like, it definitely, like, just because I'm a musician and I do this, and maybe not all of my performances are sick, whatever, but I try my best, you know?
Well, that one in the science fair was a tough one, man. That was a tough one, bro.
I told you that in confidence. That's crazy.
I'm gonna be using that against you. Next time I see you live, I'm like, yo, don't do the science fair again.
Yeah, for real. Yo, you're better than that, Cruff. Like, yo, I'm dead. I would rather listen to their music online than have them be a good performer if I have to make the choice.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And everyone's got their preference, right? Again, just like that's what music is to different people. I want to ask you something, because I know you were living in London. Did you go to Western?
I went to Western for a year.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What year were you there?
What year was that?
Because I'm a Western grad too.
Are you actually?
Well, I saw it in the notes. It's like living in London, Ontario for school. I was like, it's either you went to Fanshawe or Western, one of the two.
I went to both.
Oh, you went to both?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And when I left Jamaica, I still needed to get some credits, so I went to Fanshawe for a little bit. And then I went to Western. And in my head, man, Western was always the plan. You know what I mean? Like, ever since I was in Jamaica, my mom went to Western.
Okay.
And I was just like, yeah, Western, and I was a good student. And the second I went to Western, man, I lost my motivation. My grades started dropping. I wasn't going to classes, and I was like, man, what is this? And I think that was the moment when I was like, you know what? I'm spending so much time, I'm spending so much money on chasing this plan B that I don't care about. Let me go back to my plan A and put that much time and money into my plan A. Something has to happen.
What was plan B?
Plan B was to go to Western and, like, I don't know, become a scientist or something. Like I said,
Plan B, question mark. Plan B, go to Western, figure it out.
Yeah,
there.
along the way, Zubi. Honestly, it was among I would have
Not
gone
plan
into
B.
psychology.
Okay.
Yeah, I love talking to people, and I love helping people, and I love just like giving people a ear to listen to, because I feel like there are moments in my life where I didn't have that, and I feel like everyone should try and aspire to be that thing in their life that they felt like they lacked.
That's a very nice answer.
Yeah, it's real. It's true.
No, that's real. Yeah. So you had a good plan B then. That's like a good wholesome plan B.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
man.
you were obviously spending more time just working on music and doing your own thing than attending school, right?
Yeah.
Did your parents say anything when you like decided to drop out?
You know what? I felt like me and my mom actually talked about this recently. I felt like she was I felt like I kind of disappointed her a little bit. But we were talking about it, and she was like, I never really thought about it anyway, because when I dropped out, I immediately had a plan. You know what I mean? I was like, instead of going to Western, I'm going to go to this school called Oriart, which is also in London, Ontario.
Okay.
And that's where I learned like audio recording, like being a studio engineer more so than an artist. And my plan was just that, like, once I graduate that, I'm going to work in whatever field of music I can until being a performing artist works. And I did that, you know what I mean? And I felt like that was proper. It gave me a lot of skills. It gave me some sick jobs where I was around music all the time. And I was just like, it was, I didn't just drop out of school and become a waste man. You know what I mean?
And it's funny you say that, because so many people just drop out and then they don't know what they want to do. They just know they didn't want to waste the money in school. When I went to school, my parents always said, just whatever you do, just finish.
Yeah.
We don't care what your marks are. Just get your degree. 4 years and just finish. And I had friends who dropped out along the way, and like they ended up becoming successful and doing their own things. But they had like 2 years where it's like you were living in London, you weren't in school, you weren't really working a real job. Like you were just kind of there because your friends were still there. Well, then we all graduated, and they kind of just left with 2 years, no degree, and they were just there.
Yeah.
So the fact that you had a plan definitely helps, because if you didn't, you would have just wasted your time and wasted like money too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What'd you think about London though?
What I think about London, I mean, I'm still out there. So
Still out there full time?
yeah, I'm still out there.
Okay.
I come back and forth. I come out here to Toronto to do work, to hang out with these sick guys over at UMC.
Shout out Universal.
Shout out Universal. Yeah, man. And I think London is just nice, man. It's nice. It's quiet. I'm not really partying as much as I used to anymore. I'm just focused on building up what I can. London is a sick place for beginning what you want to do.
Yeah, because it's a big small city.
Yes.
It's not a big city with millions of people, but it's not a little small town, right? Like there's the arena there. You have concert venues. Like when I was there, I used to do nightclub promo, so I used to work at a bunch of the clubs. And
Which clubs?
They're all gone now, actually.
Frogs isn't there no more.
Barking Frogs. I did Barking Frog.
Mhm.
I did this place called Mansion. I did Up on Carling. Is Up on Carling still
Bro,
there?
what are you talking about? These clubs are not there.
Yeah, all gone. Jim Bob's, that was only gone like 4 or 5 years ago.
Jim Bob's, I think it's
Cobra
called
was there.
Toboggan.
Toboggan,
Yeah, that's what
and
it's
now
called.
Barking Frog's Delilah. But
Yes.
London Music Hall's still there.
I used to work at London Music Hall.
I did. So you know Dimitri Manuel?
Of course.
Dimitri
Dimi-
Manuel's my guy. I did events with him for years.
Please link Dimitri and tell him that you talked to Cruff
I'm
today.
going to send him a text right after. He listens. He listens to the podcast.
Does he?
I'm not even going to text him. I'm going to wait for him to see his Dimitri. We love you. He listens to the podcast.
I love
He'll
it.
randomly text me, like, randomly. And I'll be like, yo, love that episode you did with so-and-so. I was like, you fucking listen?
Yeah.
Like, yo, appreciate you. And we chat randomly about sports and stuff. I haven't seen him in years, but I messaged him maybe 2-3 weeks ago because I'm going to a concert in London because I'm in London for this. I play pickleball. You probably don't even know what it is. It's a random sport.
Okay, good.
So I'm in London for this pickleball tournament, and then there's this country artist playing on Sunday night. And it's like crazy sold out. You can't get tickets. So I messaged him. I'm like, hey, any chance you got a plug on this? Like, I got no other. I don't even know how to get tickets. You can't even find them online, like resale. So he's like, I'll see what I can do for you. And then I'm going back in July for Mumford & Sons, another
Nice.
folk music. I don't even know what you call Mumford, but yeah, Dimitri's my guy.
Dimitri's
and Mike,
sick, man.
I did at least 10 or 12 events at Music Hall.
Yeah.
Mostly DJ stuff, but
Yeah. Dimitri, Mike, and Jackie, they really gave me one of the sickest jobs I've ever had in my life, which was being a stagehand in the musical.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. So
when did you start there?
That was when I left Oriart. That was one of the jobs that I got. I can't remember which year it was. I want to say it was 2019.
Okay, so this is way after.
Yeah.
I left in like 2012.
Yeah. It was 2019, and best job ever until COVID hit and I lost it. Because, there wasn't live music and they didn't know what they're doing, and I fully understand that.
Yeah, of course. And there's nothing you really can do. Like, the whole world's shut down, right? Like,
Yeah.
everybody was losing jobs. But I guess on the bright side, that led to your new single.
Yes.
Because that was a COVID song.
Yes.
Oh, see, I'm getting good at this.
That was a COVID.
That was a good
Man
one.
says segue.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Because you know what? I usually don't. I was telling you this offline. I usually don't read too much about the artist because if I read, it's going to be an interview. It's going to be here. I know this. I know this. I know this. Tell me about this. Tell me about this. What do you think about this? And I hate that. Like even when I listen to other people's, I just don't like it. I want it to be free flowing and like I want to become friends.
Yeah.
When I meet a new friend for the first time, I don't Google the shit about these people. I just sit down. Okay, tell me about like what do you do? Tell me about that. But as I was listening to your music today, one of the interviews came on after, and this girl was mentioning how you wrote the song in 2020, and it was like a COVID song. It's been in the vault for like 2 years, or 2.5 years. And I always joke with artists, I'm like, how many songs you have in the vault?
Oh.
Songs that just either will never see the light of day, or songs that you're just sitting on and waiting because you need approval, or you need the label to sign off, or you need something. So why'd Soufflé sit in the vault for 2.5 years?
Why'd Soufflé sit in the vault? Well,
I always love when people. Sorry, can I say that? Can I say that?
Steph.
I got a funny story about that after too.
Steph loves everything that I said. She's the coach. That's what I call her. So I'm sure she's not gonna mind me saying this. So Soufflé had come out before I signed with Universal.
Okay.
And I feel like that song was like a major moment. You know what I mean? So it did have its time to shine, but with it coming out now and re-releasing now, I'm looking at what it's doing and I'm like, this is what it deserves.
Yeah.
This
is what it deserves and it needs. It's like it needs the promotion behind it. It needs like the backing of a label.
Yeah. If anything, Samurai Chop was a song that sat in the vault for a long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was made maybe like a couple months after Soufflé.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was man, we're waiting for that one for a long time. And I remember people were like, Cruff, where's the new music? And I was like, I don't know, guys. It's coming soon, I swear. And then it came out, man.
I always love these stories because again, I've talked to so many musicians. They always say it's like it's the worst thing. You just have to wait.
Yeah.
It's like, and one of my friends, she's with Universal as well now, and we had her on the podcast and we became good friends. And she's gonna release her album. The same thing. The label's like, you gotta get TikTok going. So she's like waiting to release her album because of the thing. And I'll tell you'll know who it is after. But do you know? I just asked you this question. You looked at her. We had a band that signed with Universal as well called New Hope Club. And we're talking, we're all and we drink on this podcast sometimes, especially when it was at the old studio.
Next time.
Yeah, no pressure. I messaged her. I was like, hey, what's he drink? So I would have brought some for us. But we had this band, New Hope Club, and it was right before the World Cup. And we're all sitting there, we're drinking, and they had a long day of promo. So they sat down, we're like, you guys want to drink? They're like, oh, we can drink on the pod? I was like, yeah, whatever you want. So one of the guys pours this like half like glass of vodka, just starts drinking. So we're talking, I'm like, oh, what's exciting? Like, what do you guys have exciting this year? He's like, oh, we got some really exciting stuff. I don't know if I can tell you. And he looks at the people in the comms team. He's like, can we tell them? And they're like, no, this is releasing next week. You can't tell. He's like, yeah, but we're going to tell them anyways. You kind of work for us. So, and he tells it, he like drops it on air. It was like the FIFA World Cup song. It hadn't been announced. And like their song was one of the FIFA songs in the back. It was so funny because you just see the people in the back and like,
he's like, yeah, we don't care.
Yeah, like, well, kind
Guess
of work for us, I guess. So we're gonna tell it. It was so funny. We had a good time with that. But yeah, what's some of the best? What's the best interview you've done or the best podcast you've done?
The best podcast I've done, Jano. That's a rough question. I kind of want to shout out all of them. This is a really good podcast.
I appreciate it.
First of all,
you have to say like seriously.
Yeah, I mean, not
You can't chop me up right here. Eh? I'm sitting right here.
The Pals podcast and Ricky.
Oh, I appreciate you.
Yeah, this has been great, man.
I appreciate you. We still got lots of time too. We're not even close to round.
To be honest with you, I'm low-key like I'm not just saying this. I'm low-key like I don't want this interview to end yet. You know what I mean? Like, I'm having fun.
I feel like you're just a friendly, like, nice guy. Like, you just come in here too. You're just a nice person.
I appreciate
even the other there were quick interviews I heard from you, but they were all like just fun, nice-hearted ones. And one of the ones too I heard is like asking some like very like generic questions, right? And like I told you, I try not to ask the basic generic shit. Like, okay, where'd you get your name from? Which is a funny story. I love that too. Like, I try not to ask the basic ones. And I saw this guy was like just going through the target list, and I'm like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
So I try not to do that.
Which interview was that?
I don't want to say.
Okay, don't. We'll do off camera. Off camera.
I'll tell you off.
Yeah. That's safe.
I actually heard the one how your original name was Solid Roy.
Yes.
That's that's not a good name. King Cruff is way
Wait,
better.
hold on.
You
Let me
like
defend
Solid
it.
Roy.
Let me defend it. Here's
Okay,
why.
let's hear the defense.
Boom. Yo, man, explain it. So,
King
the
Cruff
solid
just
part.
sounds nice. Like that's, I can see that on the billboard.
Yes. Yeah.
Solid Roy.
That's why I changed it.
Solid Roy. It seems like American Dad. You know what I mean? Like one of those like, just like white guy with a big chin. Like
Yes.
Solid Roy.
I'll tell you what.
Okay, let's hear
I
it.
agree with you about it being King Cruff being a better name. 100%. It was funny because when I changed my name to King Cruff, there was a lot of people, especially back in Jamaica, that were like, brother, I don't like that song either. So it's kind of
Really?
like, yeah, I don't like that name. My stomach just growled. That's why I paused for a second. You ever just have your stomach be like, let me sing the song of my people while you're doing an interview? What was I going to say?
The name.
The name. So, Solid Roy, the reason why it came about is that the solid part is that my real name is Solomon.
Yeah.
My nickname is Solly. That's what my family calls me.
Okay.
Stupid logic. I was like, drop an L, slap a D on the end of it, pause, you have solid. And I was like, all right, cool. The Roy part actually comes from my great grandfather, whose name is Leroy Anderson. His nickname was Papa Roy. And when Papa Roy passed away the same year I was born. And when I was born, people were like, yo, this kid kind of acts and looks exactly like Leroy. So my grandma, who was very close to her father, was like, I'm like, just start calling me Papa after Papa Roy. And it kind of felt like a part of my identity, to the fact that they were like, yo, you're Leroy reincarnated.
Okay.
So I used the Roy.
So okay, that's a heartfelt message. Now I feel bad pretending I
No,
didn't make it. I feel bad.
No, bro.
But why
That's
you go like Sully Roy?
Solid Roy?
Sully Roy.
Because
Solid Roy.
Solid Roy is kind of hard, man.
Maybe
I don't
you
know. I
say
still
it.
like
Imagine like a generic white guy like me. Solid Roy.
I'll tell you what, it's a real rapper's name.
Is it really?
No, I'm saying like
Fuck.
it's you ever heard a name and you're like, yeah, that guy's a rapper, bro. Not even in
I
a
know,
good
man.
way.
Chief Keef. That's a rapper's name.
I
you know?
feel that.
Kendrick Lamar.
Yes. I'm thinking
Solid Roy. maybe it's just the way I say it, man. Maybe it's just me.
Why did you say Chief Keef and Kendrick so loud and you said Solid Roy so quietly?
I don't know.
Ricky, what's good?
No, I don't know.
No, this
man, King Cruff, like King Cruff.
yeah.
Like I can see that on the billboard.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's
Solid
why you know
Roy-
we're bridges, man. I want my bridges to be real with me. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell you straight up.
Yeah, man.
That's what King Cruff I like.
Mm.
And I like how you had it on Instagram first.
What, King Cruff?
Yeah.
Oh, you heard that too?
I heard that.
Yes, yeah. I had it on there first, and people just started calling me King Cruff. Like, they didn't even know my name was Solomon. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
weird. So I was just like, you know what? Let me just run with that.
It's funny. Mine, I used to have a travel Instagram account before COVID. I traveled a lot. So my real last name's Liordi, Ricky Liordi, or Richard is my first name. And I used to have an account called Ricky's Travel. And before I was traveling a lot, I was getting a little bit of followers. Then COVID happened. We stopped traveling. I started the podcast. So I was like, okay, the Pals podcast, Your Pal Rick.
Mm-hmm.
So my Instagram's Your Pal Rick, all one word. The amount of people I meet that think my name is Patrick because they think my Instagram's Your Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll meet people all the time, and like I have a couple followers on TikTok. So people seem like, oh my God, Patrick, nice to meet you. And I'm like, you follow me on TikTok, don't you? She's like, yeah. I was like, how'd you know? I was like, because you called me Patrick. My real name's Ricky. Like, I get it all the time, especially in Toronto. It's so funny.
Yeah, that's
Patrick.
That's a strange thing to have to deal with, man.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to ask. So we talked about performing earlier.
yes, sir.
What's your favorite? Your favorite show you've ever performed? We hit your worst. We've talked about the worst. Let's talk about the best.
You know what? There's a couple, man. I feel like I did the Bob Marley experience in LA. That show was fire. The crowd was massive. I got to perform with my cousin Shasa Payne. And that was at least a moment for me, and I like to think it was a moment for her as well, because it just made it more of a family thing. You know what I mean? And I got to open.
It's nice to work with family.
100%. If you could find a reason to, especially because she's so ambitious and so driven, and she's so independent, bro. Like, I see her being such a big force in the game. You know what I mean? If I'm going to LA, I'm linking Shasa. You know what I mean? And I got to open up for Skip, which is even cooler. What else? But the show that I really think back to as like an epic show was, I throw shows sometimes, and I threw one in London at the Rum Runners, attached to
Yeah,
music
music
hall,
hall.
you know what I mean? And I was a headliner, and it was my first time performing with a band. I performed with this punk band named Junko Daydream. And there was just something about that show, man, where I felt like a headliner. Like, that's definitely my favorite show. I was doing all of my tracks. Everyone was there. It was like, we packed out the place.
And people know the words too.
People know the word. Like, when I performed Soufflé and people were singing Soufflé, I was like, this is the best feeling ever, man.
Because sometimes when you're opening, people don't know the words, right? It's
Exactly.
like they know the vibe, they know the energy, and that's your job to portray that. But when you get people that know the words and they're singing along and you're watching them, wait, do you even see people sing along? Like, can you notice that?
Sometimes.
Or are you just in the zone?
Sometimes. I mean, it kind of like, it's weird to describe because when you're on stage, you're looking out. You can't really, unless people are going hammer or just not giving you any vibes, you can't really read the vibes. You know what I mean? It has to be one or the other. There's a spectrum. And I feel like sometimes, even if you're in like a dark room, you can't really see people's faces. So it's
You got
always
so
a
many
different
lights on you,
experience.
right?
What's that?
You got so many lights on you. Like, think about, we have one light here and plus the big window. But you're in a venue, it's just boom, lights.
Yeah. You're on stage and everyone's just looking at you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Do you like performing more or making music more?
I think I like performing more.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
But that's interesting because you said you would rather be like, you appreciate the music, making the music side rather than the performing side.
Yeah, that's
Like,
them.
Oh, for them. But
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you,
yeah.
you
For
perform-
me?
Okay.
I like performing is always like, it's just fun, man. It's just fun, and I feel like it's when I can be the realest, most animated version of myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
So what about performing? Like, what do you think actually is your strength with performing?
Oh, these are good questions, man.
I've done this a couple times.
Yeah, Ricky's like, yo,
220 to be exact.
This is episode 220, man.
220, yeah, wild. But only episode like 6 alone, I think. I think I've only done like 6 or 7 alone now. So this is the rebrand.
right.
Yeah.
And
R.I.P. George, my boy.
he's not dead.
He's
just
not dead.
here no more.
Don't you love when people do that? It's like, oh yeah,
Rip.
like, what happened to your ex-girlfriend? Oh, she was great. She was a lovely person. It's like, she ain't dead. We're just not together anymore.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
What was the question?
Your strengths with performing, I think. Yeah, the strengths with performing.
You know what's crazy is that it's one of those moments where I've never watched myself perform, so I don't know why people enjoy it. I feel like it might be my energy, man.
I was literally gonna say that. I'm like, I feel like your energy is impeccable.
Thank you, man.
And like, you're not even on stage right now. I just feel like you got fucking top notch energy.
Thank you, man. I would love for you to come out to one of these shows.
I will.
sometimes. Yeah.
They know, the Universal people know. They send me tickets and I go to a lot of these shows.
Perfect.
When is the next show then?
I have a lot of shows coming up in June, so let me plug a couple of them. I'm joining the Dreammore tour for a couple stops. I'm doing the London stop and the Toronto stop. I'm supposed to be jumping on the Chemistry show in June. I think that's June 27th, and that's at the Drake Underground. I'm supposed to be doing a charity event June 29th with Mastermore. Yeah, the calendar is filling up for June.
I love
There's
that.
a lot going on.
And like summertime vibes are so much better.
Of course, man.
Any of these outdoor?
Not that
So
I
Drake's
know
indoor.
of yet.
Drake's obviously the basement there, and
Yeah.
Drake's amazing. Like it's one of those venues in Toronto that I feel like you have to play. Everyone has to play there. It's like a rite of passage almost.
Yeah.
Like you can't make it in Toronto without playing at the Drake.
Yeah. I almost, going back to one of your previous questions, another favorite performance of mine was doing School Night at the Drake Underground. I feel like that was a proper Toronto show for me. Because like when you're in London, you're always like, oh man, what Toronto venues can I like infiltrate and like get into? And when I did the Drake Underground, it kind of felt like a small full circle moment. You know what I mean?
I get it.
Yeah.
It's one of those venues, right? Like you see so many other people that end up going on to make it and sell out, History and Rebel and Budweiser Stage and things. Like so many of them have played Drake.
Right.
Like you see so many Juno award-winning artists that end up playing Drake.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I think in the last year I've seen a handful of them. We had a couple on the podcast that like Preston Pablo and Rev, both of them played at Drake recently or within the last year, and they both went on to win Junos.
They shut down the Junos, man, with Banks and Ranks.
Yeah. We haven't had Banks and Ranks on actually.
Yeah, those guys are
like,
a
no.
trip.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I heard they're good people. Wait, who produces for you? Or do you produce your own?
Oh no, I can't produce, man. I
So what the hell
work
did you go to
with.
school for?
That's it. What were you paying that money for? I just work with different producers as much as I can, and I could list off a few. Junior T, Rich Kid. List off the Toronto people first. Junior T, Rich Kid, Lord Quest, Who else have I been working with? Banks and Ranks. Not from Toronto, but they're Canadian. I have a couple tracks with
They're
them.
from Montreal, right?
They're from Montreal, yes. And back in Jamaica, I've been working closely with Tessellated. I've been working with Troublemaker. I've been working with the Circa 11 man them. I tried to keep my
Circle Small.
not Circle Small. I tried to work with different producers
Okay.
because they all have different like perspectives and they give me different vibes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
OK Taylor, another good Toronto name. Yeah, man, just as many people as I can connect with, to be honest.
Do you?
Eastbound too. Shout out Eastbound.
Do you still travel a lot back home? Like I know you were there recently. I heard that on one of the interviews too.
Yes.
Did you still travel back home a lot?
I try to go back as much as possible. I think before the last trip, which was in December, I hadn't been there in like over a year.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm starting to get to the point now where I feel like that's a little too much time. So it's just one of those goals that I have that I'm like hoping that I can get to a certain point where if I want to go back home for any reason, I can. I still have family down there. I feel bad because every time I leave, I tell my friends, yo, I'm coming back next month. And then they don't see me for like, you know what I mean? I don't want to do that to them no more. So, yeah, I'm trying to be back home more often for sure.
What do you miss the most about back home?
I think I just like being close to home. It's in that I mean that it's changed a lot. And sometimes when I'm not there and I see it change in certain ways, I'm like, not feel left out, but I feel like I need to learn things. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I shouldn't be learning things about my home like it's a case study. I should just be
That's
in
fair.
it. Yeah. Yeah. Have you been to Jamaica?
I went as a kid. I've been maybe a handful of times, Montego Bay and Kingston.
Okay,
So
where
it
were
was
you?
just
Went to
like-
Kingston.
Yeah, I went
Nice,
to Kingston.
nice.
I did Montego Bay for a holiday once. And then actually I went another time on a cruise. We stopped in Jamaica. But I haven't been back in probably, I know like 10 years.
Yeah, man.
I don't go to the Caribbean too often anymore. Just I spend so much time in the States and Europe, so that's my go-tos.
Vacation spot. What's your favorite?
Like, again, that's a loaded question. Like, what am I alone? Am I with people? Am I going? What
Ooh.
time of the year? This question's endless. I travel. I've gone on like 8 vacations this year alone. Damn. I'm like every other
By
weekend.
yourself?
Sometimes by myself, sometimes with friends, sometimes just to go, sometimes my family. So like this year, I started the year in Florida. I was with my family and one of my best friends, the girl who managed the podcast, Danny.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to me and the podcast. We went to Sun Peaks, BC. We had we did like a collab with one of the resorts out there. So we had an Olympic skier on the podcast, and we did like this whole thing. So BC. Then I went to Arizona for Family Day. Then I went to LA, Vegas. Then I went to Detroit, Michigan again, Halifax for Easter with my family, and then I was just in Vegas last weekend, this past weekend. So I'm on 9 vacations this year.
Jesus.
Yeah, man, I love it. I like, especially here in the winter. Actually, let me ask you, what are winters like for you in Canada now?
I just don't like the cold.
Bro,
ever.
of course you don't like the cold. You're
No.
from Jamaica. You probably didn't even own a winter coat before you came here.
No, of course not.
Have you ever seen snow before you came to Canada?
When I was a kid, I didn't like register it. So my first time really seeing snow was when I came back here, and like I still remember looking out the window, and I think it was October 31st, and I just looked out the window and there was like snow falling down. I was like, oh man, that's crazy. And then 2 weeks later, I was like, I hate this.
Buddy, I hate it.
I hate it, man. It's not fun.
Man, it's the worst. It's just depressing. Like, look at a day like today. Look how nice this is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just happy.
This is the first nice day we've had in a minute too.
In weeks.
You know what I mean?
We had that one nice week, was it like 3 weeks ago?
Yes.
It was like 20 degrees. Like Barney's patio was probably slammed that day.
How did you know, man?
Of course, man. I went to Western. I know, man. Any nice day in March and the patios, it's a warm weather. Ooh,
Open.
boom, I'm on the patio instantly.
Yeah.
Instantly.
I should have gone.
Oh, you should have, man. Barney's patio on a nice day. Ooh.
It's a vibe.
Oh,
I like Barney's in the night though. I think
yeah.
that's more of a vibe.
like Seeps and Barney's, right?
yeah.
Because they're connected.
I never go inside of Seeps.
No.
I did that like in my earlier career, and I was like, nah, man.
I just didn't even like it.
Nah.
I felt like I was too tan to be in there, man. Yeah, it was like just
Yeah.
like the whitest of like the white people in there. Like,
Yeah,
all the
imagine-
like the white football players are in there. I was just like,
Imagine how I feel.
I can imagine. That's why I'm poking fun at it here, right?
Yeah, man.
Where were we going before? Actually, no. I wanted to ask something. We're good on music. We've talked enough music. We're good on that. Again,
Steph is smiling so hard, man.
yeah. Well, you know what the problem is? Usually with these podcasts, because again, it's a rolling start. It's not like 3, 2, 1. Okay, tell me about the single. It's just kind of like, hey, sit down, and let's go. we'll go a full podcast, an hour, and it's like usually we have a hard stop in an hour, and then they'll be like, the song, the single, talk about the single. I'm like, oh fuck, what was it called again? Soufflé. Yeah,
Soufflé.
yeah. So I'm glad we got that out of the way. I want to ask. I read this earlier, and normally I don't like seeing too much. You're a House of Dragons fan.
Yes. Yeah. I was
saw
into
that.
House of Dragons. Well, I read Game of Thrones.
Well, I figured you're also a big reader. Indigo's like your favorite story and stuff.
Yeah, 100%. This guy did his research, man.
I told you it was on. I was like, fuck, let me listen. And I never do this. I never listen ahead of time because I'm like, I want to just be entertained, right? And I usually ask people, okay, when you're not doing music, what are you doing? And that was one of the questions I think the girl or the guy asked you. And you're like, yeah, I'm reading. I spent a lot of time at Indigo. You know, just and he asked like, what would you finish watching? Like House of Dragons. I was like, fuck, my guy.
Yeah. It was a dope show, man. I was watching it with my girl too, and there's definitely some moments where we're like, yeah, this is. Am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah, you can go.
This is some Game of Thrones shit, man.
Oh,
you know when
yeah.
Game of Thrones just pushes that envelope where I'm like, oh, I didn't want to see that, but now I've seen it.
Oh, now you've seen it.
Yeah, man. I don't. Yo, I'm just thinking of the scene right now. I'm not.
What scene is it?
Oh,
Describe it without describing it.
It was that scene where homegirl wanted to get information from the spy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I know
you know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yeah, I know.
Bro,
yeah.
when that happened,
The
I was
feet
like,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
was
know
like,
exactly.
no, please, don't put this in the show.
Well, man, Game of Thrones had some of those moments too, right? Where you're just
100%.
like, whoa, ayo, stop for a second here, pause.
Yeah.
Let's rewind here. What's about to happen? here?
Yeah,
I used to watch with my mom and dad too, so like, you get some awkward moments, and they're cool, right? But I'm just like,
I don't want to see it. Why?
shit, this is awkward, mom.
I
and
wish I
dad.
was alone right
Yeah,
now.
I wish I was watching this by myself. or
Yeah,
something.
man. But House of Dragon is dope. I'm definitely ready for that next season. We're watching Yellow Jacket right now.
Oh, I heard that's good.
It's fire. It's a dope show.
Yeah, I heard it's really
Definitely worth
good.
to watch. Yeah, man.
What else you watching? Yellow Jacket? Are you like one
Yellow
show at a
Jacket.
time? That's it.
Yeah, I think I'm just one show at a time. I'm watching Yellow Jacket. You know, I'm gonna give you the exclusive. I've never said this on an interview ever. What is gonna paint me as a huge nerd? But bro, I love podcasts from Dungeons and Dragons.
Really?
Love it, man.
All
Love it.
right.
Are you?
I'm
You
not.
play
So listen, but wait. So
You play D&D?
no, but my cousin is. So we play pickleball together. So we started traveling to like Michigan and whatever. And he's big into Magic.
Yes.
Magic, the card game, and Dungeons and Dragons are very similar. And he was telling me about Dungeons and Dragons too, or he plays Dungeons and Dragons, maybe not Magic, one of the two. And he's like trying to explain it to me, and I'm like, man, I don't understand any of this.
I
Like,
don't get this.
So he said next time we go, he's gonna teach me all about it.
Yeah.
Because the guy now it's owned by we Googled it actually. The guy who created it sold it for like $40 million or something.
Bro, it's like
it's the biggest card game in the world.
D&D is. Oh, are you talking about Magic the Gathering?
Or D&D, which one am I talking about?
So Magic the Gathering is a card game, which
Okay.
I've never played Magic before. That's something I've been like, I don't really understand.
Yeah. So then I'm talking Magic. D&D
Yeah.
is Dungeons and Dragons is still a card game, isn't it?
It's like it's a role playing game. So you sit down with your friends and you get a bunch of dice, and it's basically like you have the dungeon master run you through a story, and you have your character, and if your character can do anything they want in this world,
Okay.
but they have to roll for it, and depending on what they get on the dice, that dictates what happens in the
so
story.
who do you play with?
Who said I play? Nah, I'm playing. I actually forced my friends to play with me, and they fell in love with it, man. All of them love
Okay.
it. Yeah, man. Because I was just like, you know what? Let me just do it. And I was a DM, and I set up my own homebrew campaign. We're running it. We're supposed to be doing something on Saturday, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, man, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. But you definitely have to be into it.
And you got to give it a chance.
You have to give it a chance.
You have to give it a chance. You have to play with people who are excited about it.
Yeah, it was funny because when I put them up to it, I was like, you know what? Maybe no one's gonna fuck with this. Bro, as soon as that game started, mans were doing voices. Mans were like, dude, and I came from this place, and I was like, all right, we're getting into it. This is perfect. I love this, man. Because it goes back to, I just love telling stories, man. And I feel like D&D as a dungeon master allows me to do that.
See, that's what I love about this podcast. I love listening to stories.
Yeah.
I think listening to people's experiences, it's like, have you ever seen the movie Slumdog Millionaire?
Never, but I want to watch it.
So it won all these awards. That year won all the awards, like the, not the Grammys, the Oscars. It like, cleaned up. It got nominated for a bunch. And the idea is this man, this Indian boy who like grew up in the slums, gets on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and he ends up winning it because all the questions he's asked, he knows the answers because of life stories.
Mm-hmm.
So he's telling these life stories, and like us, the people watching the movie, you get to see these life stories that show how he knows the answers to these questions. And I love that. I always think, I'm like, you hear all these stories from so many different people and so many amazing different stories. Like, we're 220 episodes. We've had at least 175 guests, because some come on twice or whatever. Or some episodes were just me and George. We've had 175 guests. You know how many stories we've been able to hear that are remarkable? And I'll travel to a city and I'll, run into a bar. And I'm like, oh my God, I know this bar because this person played at that one bar that one time and told me this crazy story about how they got the best espresso martinis. I need to order espresso martini.
Right.
Or, you know what I mean? Just like random shit like that. So I love listening to people tell stories, and just that's why I do this.
Stories are important, man.
Man, it is.
You know what I'm saying?
And I'm not a reader too, which is like, so I need to do this podcast to get my stories. But that's it.
I feel that. I also was gonna ask you, because I'm just so big into this movie, man. They made the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
I was literally gonna say that too earlier.
But not even that one. Have you watched the Super Mario movie yet?
No, but I heard it's like breaking records.
You should watch it.
I heard it's breaking records
It's
right now.
dope, man. It's
How
really
was that?
good.
How was, what's his name? Chris Pratt. How was his voice?
You know what, bro? I feel like everyone gave the voice act. It's serious because I'm leading forward. I feel like everyone gave the voice actors a hard time when they got announced. They all did an amazing job. They all did an amazing job.
Wait, who played Luigi?
Was it Charlie Day? It was Charlie Day, I think. Yeah. I hope I'm saying his name right. They all did an amazing, bro. It felt like, and I feel like it's just because people are just like, celebrity now. But like, think about Shrek. Shrek was like one of the most fire animated movies of all time, but the cast was all celebrities. You know what I mean?
Did you know with Shrek? I forgot who was supposed to play Shrek. It was
Nicolas Cage.
No, it was Mike Myers did Shrek, because Mike Myers Shrek. He did it in a Scottish accent, or no, he did it in his regular voice. And they filmed the whole thing. What's done? He goes, I don't like this. Like, it sounds too Canadian.
Yeah.
So then he redid it in a Scottish accent, I think, the whole film. And now it's like everyone knows Shrek is this Scottish ogre or whatever,
Right.
his accent was.
I'm also scared to talk about Shrek on the podcast because Shrek has a bad internet reputation.
Why?
Are you like are you up to date to Shrek lore, like Shrek meme lore?
No.
It's a lot, bro.
What is it?
Nah, man, I'm not even gonna talk about it because it might
You don't wanna be associated.
it might jinx this, bro.
Okay. What's your favorite movie of all time?
My favorite, Lion King.
Really?
Lion King. I don't even have to think about
Great
it. Great
answer.
Yeah.
Okay, bro, that's the first time I ever cried watching a movie.
I don't mean to laugh. That made me seem like a bad person.
No, man.
Like the
Mufasa gets fucking dropped like that by his fucking scar.
Yeah. You
Man.
know what's crazy? That scene where he comes back in the clouds, like the Ghost of Mufasa scene. That's like my favorite piece of like scoring in a movie ever. Like if you go back and just listen to that scene, like music wise, like bro, everything about that scene is beautiful, man.
Because in that movie there was the big Elton John song.
Can you Circle of Life or Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Yes.
Circle of Life, was that Elton John too?
I think that was Elton John too. Yeah? Steph says yes.
Then there was the Simone and Pumbaa song.
Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah, man. Banger.
Man,
Banger.
so many good ones.
Bro, you know what song is fire in that song? In that movie? Be Prepared. The song that Scar sings. Oh, go back and listen
with
to
the
it, bro.
hyenas in the cage. Yeah.
Bro.
Okay. On the cave. I gotta remember. I haven't watched it in like 5 years. No, maybe more. Maybe 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even watch the live action one.
Yeah, I haven't watched the live action one either.
Bro, how's it your favorite movie? I haven't watched the live action movie.
Because I kind of don't really know how I feel about live action movies, man. Like,
Really?
yeah, I'm kind of just like, yo, leave it how it was.
I'm the
How
same
do
way.
you
I
feel?
haven't watched any of them. Just 'cause I'm like, these movies will forever remind me of my childhood. If I watch
Yeah.
them as a grown up, like Aladdin with Will Smith. I wanted to watch it because the guy was Canadian.
Yeah.
The guy who played Aladdin, he went to like Ryerson or whatever it's called now. And I wanted to watch because like I knew friends who knew him, and I'm like, this is cool. Will Smith, love Will Smith, or used to love Will Smith, whatever. And I never watched it because I'm like, I don't know, Aladdin was like, I was a kid. Like watching it as a kid, I remember where I watched it every time. Like I had a little couch in my room growing up, like this little blue couch that, you know, I used to think was so big and growing up, and then I saw it a few years back. The thing's like not even 2 meters long. Like I couldn't even stretch out on it now. But I don't know. I just remember watching these movies as a kid on VHS. Not even like kids these days don't know what VHS is.
VHS was
They don't
fire,
even know what
man.
DVDs are anymore because it's like now it's Blu-ray or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
not,
yeah.
Now it's not even that. It's
Netflix, man.
Netflix, yeah.
Yeah, bro.
That is interesting.
The VHS era. You know what else is a sick movie from back in the day? You ever seen the SpongeBob movie, the first
of
one?
course, yeah.
Bro, fire movie. Holds up.
I can't remember which one was because I've seen one. They did number 2 as well, didn't they?
Bro, I don't care about no movie after the first one, man. I can't lie. Honestly.
Have you ever seen like Godfather or like Godfather 2?
Did I watch I feel like I watched the
Because
Godfather.
Godfather
the
2
other
is
day.
better than Godfather 1.
Mm.
So you have to watch 2.
Did I watch Godfather the other day? I watched one of those mobster movies the other day. I can't remember which one it was.
It wasn't Godfather. You would remember it.
Yeah. I remember I was like, I haven't seen this movie and everyone talks about it, so let me watch it. Damn, I can't believe I just forgot it like that. My bad, Ricky.
It's okay. That's okay. I don't mind. What do so obviously do you live with your partner?
Yes.
So you guys just crush movies every night?
all the time. We're
So right now-
she loves anime, so we're supposed to watch Your Name.
Okay.
It's just like an anime movie, and it's like one of those really cutesy kind of sad movies. I feel bad because she was like, "Let's watch it before you leave," and I'm like, "Okay," and I just never did, and then I came here.
So you're going home and that's what's on the agenda.
It's the first thing.
That's the first thing. On
that
the
and
agenda.
then D&D.
Before we got a couple minutes left. Before we wrap up, I want to know food. What is food like here compared to back home?
Compared to back home, man. You know what's funny is that sometimes when I'm back in Jamaica, there's things that Jamaica has that Canada doesn't, and there's things that Canada has that Jamaica doesn't. Flat out.
That's fair.
There's times where I'm in Jamaica and they're like, bro, first of all, let me just say that KFC in Jamaica and any Caribbean island crushes everything else.
Okay.
Next time you're down there,
Wait,
bro,
what's so good about it?
I can't tell you. But like if you're in Jamaica, bro, you see people like lining up to get KFC. In the drive, like the drive-through is coming out into the road. It's a very regular thing.
All right, noted.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Noted.
And of course you have all the favorites: the jerk chicken, the oxtail. It's being made on the side of the road, which is that's kind of like the McDonald's, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's 3 a.m. I just left the party. Let me go and get some jerk chicken.
And there's someone on the side of the road just cooking it
just
up.
cooking it. You know what I mean? So, but then also like when I'm down there, I'm thinking about like, hey, you know, I could go for like some Korean fried chicken right now, and I can't find that anywhere in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a balance.
Have you tried all the beef patties here?
I don't think I've ever had a beef patty up here before, actually.
No.
Nah. Do you like them?
I used to love beef patties when I was a kid. So it's like a Toronto joke, but like a lot of subway stations used to sell beef patties. growing up.
Right.
So everyone knew it was like Eglinton had some of the best beef patties at Eglinton Station. And I was like, I think they shut down now or they don't do it anymore. But like we used to just eat beef patties every day after school on the subway ride home. The days we took the subway. But man, you got to try. There's some good places in the city that have beef patties.
Mm-hmm.
Like go to Chubby's. Take them to Chubby's. Chubby's is good. It's like,
yeah.
in my opinion, one of the better Jamaican spots. But I haven't been to too many. But
Yeah, I went to Real Jerk the other day. I didn't have any patties there, but I had the jerk chicken there, and I was like, to me, that was the closest
Where
I've
is
ever
this?
had. Real Jerk. It's somewhere in Toronto. I
Okay.
don't know where, but yeah, they did a good job.
that's a nice shout out too.
Yeah. Shout out Real Jerk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Before we wrap up too, what's so we already talked about some of the shows that you're playing, but what else you working on this year?
What else am I working on, man? Right now, it's just
I love how you smile too every time you answer a question too. You're just like such a big smile.
I appreciate that.
Makes my
man.
job easy here.
I try to make everything easy for everyone. You know what I mean? But right now I've just locked myself in the studio and I was just making as many vibes as possible. I feel like I'm gonna take a little break for a little bit because it's one of those moments now where I have to live life. I can't just be making songs on top of songs on top of songs. But yeah, I really just wanted to get these singles out on the road, build up towards our project. And I want this project to be nice and something that people can connect to and something that people can relate to. I don't want it to just be like a little throwaway, oh, here's the vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this is it's gonna be a labor of love. It's gonna be a slow burn, hopefully not too slow, but we're gonna get there.
I like that.
Yeah, man.
When you plan on releasing it?
The project
Yeah.
in time.
Okay. Good answer. Eh? That could be like in 3 months' time, in 6 months' time, in a year's time. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, man. No, it's in the back of my mind though. But right now, I'm definitely in like, you know what? The vault is filled. We have these vibes. Let's just get them out there to the people.
Last question.
Yes, sir.
And we used to ask this all the time. I'm getting back to it now. If there was a movie about your life, who would you want to star as you?
Who
Could
I
be
would
anyone
play
from
as
anybody.
me?
Yeah, anyone in time.
I've been asked this question before, and I feel like my answer is always Donald Glover.
Oh,
Yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah, man. I relate a lot to Donald Childish.
Well, and he can sing and act.
Yeah, he can do anything.
Yeah.
Man. So I feel like, yeah, you know what I mean. He'd play the perfect Cruff. I feel like
No, he'd be Solid Roy.
he'd be solid. You see me? In the biopic. Damn.
I love it.
Yeah, man.
I love it. Cruff, man, thank you for coming on. This has been a pleasure.
Yeah, man.
If people want to find out more about you, your music, what you're doing, and everything, where can they go? How can they find you?
King Cruff, KingCruff on every platform, you know what I mean? Instagram, the TikTok is there as well. Yeah, come and check it out.
And you're gonna start posting some TikToks soon too.
I'm working on the content right now. Yo, I can't look at you.
You can't be serious. You're like, yeah, about that.
Ricky's looking at me like, you ain't making no content.
You're making music. It's still content.
Keep it
It's just
down
not
over there.
video content. Anyways, guys, if you made it to the end, we appreciate you. Give Cruff a follow. Give the pals a follow. Subscribe. Share this with your friends. And we'll see you next week. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, bless up.
You like to drink and to smoke to take away the pain. And I don't remember all of my mistakes and every high. Gotta know one thing, you're not